You care too much what people think about you. Look around. Nobody actually cares. Everybody's in their own heads thinking about themselves. Ask yourself, when you were walking through a busy shopping street the last time, and maybe there was a homeless person screaming, do you remember that person's face? Do you remember anything about that person? Probably not, because he just stays in your consciousness as a stimulus for like 10, 15, maximum 30 seconds. And then everything is moved on. You are limiting yourself in your own expression as a man, which also prevents you from finding the right woman because you're worried what random people think of you. You have to understand that 90% of society isn't compatible with who you are. You can wish beings well. I would encourage you to live in a state of collaboration and love and just the assumption of positive intent and goodwill because it makes you feel more at home in the world. But at the same time, most people that you'll meet, they won't be compatible with who you are. 9 out of 10 men you'll meet, they won't be compatible with you in terms of your values or your personalities, let alone women. Most people will look at you and they'll completely forget about it. But you won't do the approach because you're worried what the people next to her are thinking. Maybe at work, you're not as comfortable giving presentations. Maybe you are. But there's definitely environments where you feel limited because you're worried what random people think of you. Let that actually sink in. Or are you totally comfortable introducing yourself at a restaurant to a very attractive woman who might be sitting there with her mother and you say, "Excuse me, ladies, are you guys sisters?" knowing very well that she's obviously the mother and everybody's staring at you. Are you able to handle that social pressure? Speaking of pressure, Gunther Schmidt, one of Germany's best psychologists, he says that pressure is something that's absolutely internally generated. So if you were to hold up a barometer right now and measure the air pressure in between you feeling a sense of pressure or you not feeling it, the air pressure doesn't change. So how is pressure generated within yourself? Well, one, by what you focus on. Do you focus on what you can control or what you can't control? Second, what is your inner dialogue? Are you empowering yourself? Are you placing goals and expectations on yourself that are taking power away from you? And then third, your physiology. You know that before and after a workout, you're not the same person. And if you have a really strong workout, if you change the way you use your body, that translates into a sense of physiological, neurological confidence. I would like you to not become an outsider of society, somebody who acts too far outside of the societally agreed upon norms. No, be a calibrated, respectful member of society, obviously. But do understand that this world is a bit of a video game, isn't it? Imagine by the day you die, you go to the gates of heaven, you knock, the Lord is there and tells you, hey, this was actually all a video game. You could have been a lot more free in your expression. You could have had a lot more fun. You could have had a lot more amazing experiences. You could have gone and talked to her. You could have done it. But you didn't because you took it too serious, because you took it too literal. And if you're a man with a successful career or your own business and you want to find the right girlfriend or wife and you'd like me to help you personally with that, click the link underneath this video and apply for a free initial consultation. During that call, we're going to sit down and figure out what your blind spots are and we'll map out a plan based on your individual situation that you can then either put into practice yourself or with our help. Talk soon. Don't take this life too serious. You're not going to get out alive. Isn't it risky? Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins' teacher, says it is risky, but you're not going to get out alive anyway. So you might as well enjoy it. What do you really have to lose? What do you really have to lose? And do you need to do totally risky social things like talking to somebody in person to find the right woman? No, you can just do dating apps. That's fine. More than 50% of my clients find their girlfriend or wife through dating apps or Instagram. But in-person approaches are a really valid strategy. Most importantly, it adds to a sense of real confidence. Because who can actually do that? Who really can? Men always tell themselves they can do a sober approach during the day, but can you? If you're not doing it, then you can't. Now, there's also an element of progressive desensitization. If you first do it, you're going to feel a sense of nervousness. No matter how much you tell yourself that you're the shit, that it doesn't matter, your unconscious will still respond because you haven't progressively desensitized yourself to the threat of high social pressure. You're actually still feeling it. Eventually, you won't feel anything. Now, you may not be able to talk to a woman who's an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, but did you watch Lord of the Rings? Okay, you know Gollum, right? Imagine there was somebody who looked like Gollum, man or woman, that attractive, like a 0 out of 10. How nervous would you be? You probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't care at all. Now, the cognitive error that you're making is you think you have to talk to women who are an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. You forget that you can start talking to a 2 out of 10. Talk to 10 twos, 10 threes, 10 fours, 10 fives, 10 sixes, 10 sevens, 10 eights, 10 nines, and 9 and outs. 10s don't exist, 10 out of 10s. You do that and you'll be able to learn. Your brain is so intelligent, you can learn anything step by step. You wouldn't expect yourself to bench press 120 kilos, by the way, my new personal record that I hit in Norway a week ago. That was kind of nice. I did that, but that took a couple of years to get there. You don't just do that. You start with 40 kilos and then 50. Progressive overload, progressive desensitization. It's the same thing for your nervous system. No, your nervous system can get to a point where you feel almost nothing. Not like a psychopath, but like maybe 5 or 10%. I maybe feel like 5 or 10% of the nervous system that I would have felt 8 years ago. It's not like I'm not aware of what's going on. I obviously do that, but I know my intent. And here's the governing principle. You can do whatever you want as a man, as long as you don't interfere with anybody else's right to do the same. You can be so free in your expression. You can have fun, you can be funny, playful, silly. You can do the approach, as long as you don't make other people uncomfortable. That's where you draw the line. Now, what I'm doing right here, right now, might make some people uncomfortable, but to be honest, it is still within the societally agreed upon norms, and society in Ireland says you are allowed to film in public, so you're allowed to do that. You are allowed to go and talk to me. You are allowed to introduce yourself to an attractive woman that you see in person. Now, the second she doesn't want to talk to you, you walk away immediately and you leave her alone. But if you want to be the most confident version of yourself on dates, as well as in a relationship, in-person approaches really matter. Even if you're never going to meet your wife through an in-person approach, this still matters, because most men are full of shit. Most men greatly exaggerate the quality as well as the quantity of women they've been with. Bro, I met her, so great. They're not approaching. They're not doing it. Be that in Dubai or New York or Dublin, Chicago, Texas, wherever you happen to be in the world, most men don't actually talk to a woman they want to go talk to. And it's such a weird thing. And it's not even your fault, by the way, because society has told you it's a weird thing or you haven't been taught how to do that. But how did your great-great-grandfather meet your great-great-grandmother? He approached her. Well, in fairness, there's a social circle argument. Maybe they were just part of the same tribes. They got married up. They exchanged some camels for cows or whatever, right? They made some sort of a trade. But there's a chance that he walked over, uttered a couple of sounds with his vocal cords, and then they made love, and then your parents were created. Think about that. What a crazy concept. There are so many good things that come from talking to people. Every good outcome you have in your life right now came as a result of you talking to people. Let that sink in. Your job, business opportunities, all relationships, even health outcomes, they came as a result of you talking to people. And what makes you think that less good things will happen in your life, that more good things will happen in your life if you stop talking to people? It is extremely important that you proactively create these opportunities for yourself in your life. An outcome, like a beautiful relationship, won't magically manifest itself into your life. And successful people do what failures won't. You don't have to film videos in public, you don't need to do that, but you may actually have to go and talk to somebody you find attractive. Crazy, wild idea. Look, you can just use dating apps. I have clients who never do in-person approaches, and that's also okay, and that's also fine, right? At the same time, I would encourage you, my invitation would be to not just leave your comfort zone, but to actually expand your comfort zone. That's what I learned from Brad Yates, my first personal development teacher out there. Well, really, my first personal development teachers were my mother and my father. They're amazing in a lot of ways. But Brad Yates, he teaches something called emotional freedom technique, where you tap on certain parts of your body, meridians, whether it's scientifically accurate or not, and you affirm certain things. And it's actually proven to reduce fear. So he always said, you don't just leave your comfort zone, you expand your comfort zone. 5 years ago, so I was walking down this very street with a friend of mine who's very into fitness. He's a very good boxer and he's very much into fitness. He's been going to the gym for a very long time. And he says, David, no matter where I am in the world, in Dubai, in Dublin, in the US, 100 kilos on bench is always 100 kilos. It's extremely comforting to know that no matter where you are in the world, 100 kilos are always going to be 100 kilos. And I said to him, well, that's actually interesting because a street, a pub, a club, wherever there's people, that is my gym. Wherever there's people, I have learned. I used to be terrible at it. I used to have zero skills in this area whatsoever. But I've trained myself to, wherever there's people, be able to start conversations in a win-win way, not in an ego way. You're trying to take something from them. No, it's sharing love, it's sharing positivity, it's having a great time and inviting everybody else to join in your fun. I've trained myself to be able to do that. So I realized, hey, wherever there's people, I feel at home in the world. And I think that's ultimately what I want for you. I want the outcome of a loving, beautiful relationship with the right woman, of course. But what I also want for you is to feel at home in the world. And again, that comes as a result of you talking to people. I know you're busy, you're doing well in your career, your business, you're crushing it, you're successful. I get that. But when we're only stuck in the grind, if all we do is work and gym, where you're supposed to find that woman, she's not going to magically manifest herself into your lap. And let me tell you something, it gives you a different level of confidence if you could do something 99% of men in this world can't do. 99% of the men in this world cannot do a sober approach. They won't do it. They'll only do it if they had enough liquid confidence, if they had enough alcohol or other substances that then give them a fake sense of confidence, which crumbles the second the substance wears off in their brain. I would like you to feel at home in the world and get the outcome. But it requires a little bit of effort, a little bit of progressive desensitization. You can get to a point where every interaction with a human being is a chance to feel at home in the world. It's a chance to make yourself laugh. And by the way, this continues in a relationship as well. This doesn't just stop when you're in a relationship. You pretend to be this fun guy, you use all these tactics, and then you go back to being your boring self. No, it doesn't work like that. I met Fernanda in a pub in Dublin 6 years ago, and part of the reason the relationship is better than ever right now, 6.5 years in, is because it's so fun, it's so lighthearted, because certain habits were changed. You have to change certain habits. It's not you, it's not your core, but you have to change the way you express yourself at your core. Otherwise, eventually, 3 years in, 6 years in, she'll lose interest, because it's not just the money, it's not just the status, it is not just the financial security that's going to keep her excited. Eventually, she'll start to wonder. If you want her to stay actually truly excited to you, you'll have to learn to spark her emotions. And being free in your expression and not giving a solitary fuck what the wrong people think about you truly helps.